Okay, so like I was saying, the word Manushya comes from Manu, who is a progenitor of man. And so there are several such Manus who have been empowered with the task of populating the earth. So you can see it's not something that it just happens on its own. This is something that the Lord personally gets involved in, and he protects and to make sure that everything happens according to time and schedule. So who are these Manus? Manu incarnation. The Manus appear for certain durations during a day of Brahma. Brahma's day is calculated as 4,300,000 years times 1,000. So that means it's 4 billion, really 4.3 billion. So within one day of Brahma, so you see that one yuga cycle is 4.3 million years, and there are 1,000 such yuga cycles in one daytime of Brahma. See, also within these 1,000 yuga cycles, there are 14 Manus. Okay, so that means the list of 14 Manus in this universe as follows. They're given the different Manavantaras. For the Yagya Manavantara, the name is Swayambhuva Manu. Vibhu is Swarochisha Manu. Satyasena is Uttama Manu. Hari is Tamasa Manu. Vaikuntha is Raivata Manu. Ajita is Chakshush Manu. Vamana is Vaivasvata Manu. So currently, our Manu is named Vaivasvata Manu. And he's called Vaivasvata Manu because his son, he's the son of Vivaswan, the sun god. Therefore, from Vivaswan, you get Vaivasvata Manu. And this is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. If you remember, in the 4th chapter, in the opening few verses, Krishna is describing the parampara. And he says, in the beginning, I instructed this to Vivaswan, the sun god. And he says, Vivaswan manave praha manu rikshavaker bravit. So Vivaswan spoke to his son, Manu. Which son is that? This is this Manu we have right now, who is Vaivasvata Manu. Okay. Sarvabhauma is the next upcoming Manus are Savarni Manu. Rishabha is Daksha Savarni Manu. Vishwakshena is Brahma Savarni Manu. Dharma Setu is Dharma Savarni Manu. Sudhama is Rudra Savarni Manu. And Yogeshwara is Deva Savarni Manu. And Brihad Bhanu is Indra Savarni Manu. So these 14 Manus cover the 4,320,000,000 solar years of one day of Brahma. Now, this list can be very mind-boggling sometimes, but at least it can impress upon us the vast magnitude of the timescales involved in the maintenance of this world. You see? So our Manu, so there's only 14 Manus in this yuga, 1,000 yuga cycles. See? So now to understand completely a little better how long these Manus live or reign, we can consider this information. For example, there are 4 ages. We know them, the 4 ages, right? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. And that makes one divine cycle called a Divya Yuga. And one set of these 4 yugas is called Divya Yuga. Now let's remember that Satya Yuga lasts for 1.7 million years. Treta Yuga lasts for 1.29 million years. Dwapar is 864,000 years, and Kali Yuga is the smallest, is 432,000 years, which gives us a total of 4.32 million years, 4,320,000 years. And the daytime of Brahma is called a Kalpa. It lasts for 1,000 of these cycles. And this gives us 4,320,000,000 solar years. Okay, so now because there are 14 Manus in this whole day of Brahma, each Manu is said to exist for one Manavantar. Antar means the time frame. So it's named after Manu. So one Manavantar is about 71 Divya Yugas. 71 Yuga cycles is one Manu. So each Manu exists roughly for 306,720,000 years of our years. Of course, these are rough estimates, but it gives us an idea of how much time these empowered divine personalities do this particular service, 306 million years. Sometimes someone tells us, okay, today we have to clean the pots. Okay, and we'll take shifts, and each shift the devotee, because we did festival and there's so many pots, and each devotee will be cleaning the pot for about 1 hour each. So I'm cleaning, I'm scrubbing. After half an hour, like, how long do we have to go? Or still another half hour you have to do. So for me, that even 1 hour seems so much. And then you have to do it, month after month, year after year. Think, oh, this is too much. But look at how much these manus have to serve. 306 million years. I mean, they have that much lifespan, but they also do that much service. So we can appreciate some of the empowerment that is required to accomplish these tasks of being a Manu, and making sure, they have their own responsibilities in terms of, they're also kings, right? They're divine kings still, and they have their own responsibilities in creating more progeny, making sure that, that is propagated correctly and so on. So they have their service. Therefore, this verse talks about this Manu incarnations. Now, where does this whole thing fit in all the various types of incarnations of the Lord? So like we were mentioning earlier, that Swayam Bhagavan is Shri Krishna. And there are various other categories of incarnations. So tomorrow's verse is this one, Ete Chamsa Kalapumsam, Krishna to Bhagavan Swayam. But this is that there, all these incarnations we talked about, there are all parts or parts of the parts of Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan. So Swayam Bhagavan is Shri Krishna. And the different categories listed over here are Purusha Avataras, Guna Avataras, Lila Avataras, and Shakti-Avesh Avataras. So the Manus fall under Shakti-Avesh Avataras. Purusha means the Supreme Lord. Okay, so the Supreme Person, and these refer to the Vishnu incarnations. Then Guna Avataras refer to, what Guna means is the modes. So when the universe is created, there are 3 modes that are also included in that creation. And the different incarnations who take charge of the 3 modes, they are called the Guna Avataras. So Guna Avataras are Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, like that, in charge of 3 modes. Then Lila Avataras are the various incarnations that perform different pastimes. And then Shakti Avesh Avataras we mentioned are Jiva souls who are also empowered to do particular things. So let us look at the Purusha Avataras first. First one is Mahavishnu, or also known as Karana Dakshaya Vishnu. So when the universe, the material universe is created or expanded, Mahavishnu, the Supreme Lord, in the form of this 4-armed form, he's lying in the causal ocean, the Karana ocean. And when he breathes out, many, many trillions of universes come out from his body, from every pore of his body. So many, they're like little bubbles you can see in this painting. And each bubble forms into like an egg. And inside that egg, or looks like a womb, and inside that egg, or you can say like a coconut, there is another ocean, a small body of water, relatively speaking. And that is the ocean in which another Vishnu enters, and he lies in that ocean. It's called the Garbha ocean. So he is known as the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Now, that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is there in every single one of those universes. And then from his navel sprouts the lotus flower upon which Lord Brahma is born. See? So Lord Brahma is born, and depending on the size of the universe, some Brahmas have more heads, some Brahmas have fewer heads. So our Brahma has 4 heads because our universe is of that size. And then other universes, if they're bigger, they have, maybe 8 heads, 10 heads, 100 heads, 1,000 heads, even 1,000,000 heads, depending on the size of the universe. Anybody who's familiar with the computer servers and technology, depending on how many users are going to be using that server, you need to put, 1 core or 2 cores of the chip or quad core processor. So our Brahma is a quad core processor. He has 4 processors, 4 heads, like that. See, and he's empowered. to process this information and do so much, because he has to do a lot of engineering work, he has to engineer the universe basically. So Lord Vishnu, in the form of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he lies down, and that is the second Purusha avatar. And then the third Purusha avatar is Kshirodakshai Vishnu, who is that another expansion of Vishnu who enters into every living being's heart, every creature, every plant, every human being. The Lord is there with us. He is there acting as a witness, acting as an overseer, waiting for us to turn to him. Because Krishna never leaves us alone. He's always there with us, always. Whether you believe in him or even if you're atheist, it doesn't matter. He's always with you in your heart. So that is the Kshirodakshai Vishnu. He's also known as Paramatma. Kshirodakshai Vishnu also expands into every atom. So the same Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Right? So you have the Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Those are the Purusha avatars. Looks like to request, let's see, if you could mute yourself. We have someone, Shama Kotecha, and Shobha, if you can mute yourself, that would be great. Thank you. Yes. And then the Guna avatars in each Brahmanda. Brahmanda means that universe that we saw, each bubble, shaped like an egg. And there's one Brahma in that egg. So that is why that universe is called Brahmanda. The Brahma's egg. Anda means egg, right? In Hindi we say Anda, like that. So Brahmanda means the egg of Lord Brahma. So in each of those universes shaped like an egg, you have the three Guna avatars. Lord Brahma himself, he is in charge of the mode of passion, because creation requires a very strong dose of the mode of passion. Then Lord Vishnu, in the form of, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he is representing Sattvic, or the Sattva Gun, mode of goodness. He maintains things. He makes sure things go on okay, nicely, after the creation has happened. And then Lord Shiva, he is basically just waiting around until it's time to wrap everything up and do the demolition. So the demolition or destruction, it's a life cycle of anything. Even any building has a life cycle. So at the end of the life of that building, the demolition is also required to break it up and make room for the next building or so on. So similarly, in this universe, when it's time to wrap up, it's a bit of a task, to take everything apart, to burn it up, to break it down, and so on. This demolition. Demolition or breakdown or destruction requires mode of tama, the mode of ignorance. Ignorance means destruction. Doesn't mean Lord Shiva is an ignorance. Lord Shiva is a transcendental personality, but he's in charge of the mode of ignorance. See? He's in charge of that. Because he's in charge of that, he also attracts the kind of souls who are very much apt to be embroiled in the mode of ignorance. Right? So we have the three Guna avatars. So again, here we see that Vishnu is Krishna. Lord Shiva is neither Krishna nor a Jiva. He is his own category. See? And Lord Brahma is a living being, a living entity, and a spirit soul, just like us. But he has been elevated to this position because of his great qualification. So these three positions are given the title of avatar. So Lord Brahma is a Shakti Avesh avatar in a sense. So this is like an overlap. You see a Shakti Avesh category here, but Brahma is also a Shakti Avesh avatar. But in this particular category, for the purpose of the gunas, he's also a Guna avatar. You see? Right. And moving on, there are the Lila Avataras. The Lila Avataras are listed. So in in the chapter that we're covering right now, there's a whole bunch of Lila Avataras. That the Lord comes and he performs various pastimes. So here we see the Kumaras, the Narad Muni, Varahadev, Matsya. Then there are others that are not very more popularly known, but Yagya, Yagyapati, Nar Narayan Rishi, Kardama Muni, Kapiladev, Dattatreya, Shesha, Hamsa, Dhruva, Priya, Rishabha, Prithu. Prithu is the king. Then Narsimha Dev, Kurma Dev, Dhanvantari Bhagwan, Mohini Murti, Vamana Dev, Parshuram, Ram, Vyas, Balaram, Krishna, Buddha, Kalki, like that. Of course, Krishna is special because he is not really an avatar, but he's a fountainhead, the source. He's a Swayam Bhagavan. See, so he's special like that. He's not really technically an avatar, but his expansions, or there could be expansion of expansion, you see, depending on what they need to do and what they need to accomplish. And each of these avatars have stories behind them. And again, these are just some of the prominent ones, okay? These are not all of them. They're just a sampling to give us an idea of how the Lord operates and to allow us to absorb our mind in the Lord's sweetness and what he does and so on. All right. So, and then of course we talked about Shakti Avesh Avatar. So the main points for us to understand about incarnations. Why do they appear? When do they appear? How to recognize them, and how to recognize pretenders. You see, so why do they appear? See, there are many reasons why the Lord appears. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he gives a couple of the reasons that I come to give comfort and solace and encouragement to my devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam, to deliver my devotees, to show them my lila, my pastimes. See, I come. I also come to destroy the demoniac people. Vinashaya chadushkritam. So one is to deliver the devotees and the great souls, the sadhus. Two is to destroy the miscreants or the bad guys, or those who are creating disturbance in society. And three, dharma sansthapanarthaya, to re-establish dharma. Those are three reasons. Of course, sometimes there's more than three reasons, but those are three categorical reasons why the Lord appears. And when does the Lord appear? He says, dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I come millennium after millennium or yuga after yuga. In other words, even within one yuga, sometimes he'll come multiple times. But at least once in a yuga, he'll come. There's another category called yuga avatar, means the incarnation for that particular yuga. See? So the yuga avatar for this Kali Yuga that we are in right now is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes to establish, right, dharma sanstapana. So the yuga dharma, he comes to establish the method or the primary technique of gaining spiritual progress. So in this age of Kali, the primary method or technique of making spiritual progress is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when he comes as a Yuga avatar, he is establishing the dharma or the method of that yuga of how to become Krishna conscious. Right? Now, besides those three reasons of giving comfort to the devotees and to kill the miscreants and to reestablish dharma, the Lord also has his own personal reasons to appear. See, we just recently had the appearance day of Lord Sri Rama. And Lord Rama appeared for all those reasons, those three reasons. But there's another reason why he also appeared and did some of his pastimes. One time, Lakshmi Devi was massaging the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu says, Lakshmi Devi, you look a little sad today. Why you look sad? Lakshmi Devi said, no, it's fine. No, I think something is wrong. Tell me, you can tell me. She said, we are in Vaikuntha, I have everything we need, but still there's something missing. And Lord Vishnu says, what do you mean something is missing? How can something be missing? We're in Vaikuntha, everything is available. You tell me, you will arrange for it. She said that one thing is missing, that I'm able to, massage lotus feet. And I understand that even great sages and rishis, they don't have access to do this service, but somehow you've given me this service and I'm very fortunate, I'm very grateful. Don't get me wrong. But one thing is missing is that we have no privacy. I can't open up my heart to you or I can't serve you without, someone constantly looking at us. She said, Lord Vishnu, no, there's privacy here. What do you mean? There's no one around here. And so she said, yeah, okay, that's right. And she said, if you look over here, there's a Sheshnag, you're lying on the Sheshnag, and there's hoods. He has thousands of hoods, and each thousand of hoods is so many eyes. And they're looking at me, and sometimes I feel that maybe he's thinking I'm not doing my service properly. Who knows what he's thinking? I need some privacy. Then the Lord Vishnu, he smiles. He says, okay, no worry. When I take the incarnation of Lord Sri Ram, and you will come with me as Sita Devi, then I'll make arrangement that we'll get time to ourselves. We'll get a good, a nice 14-year vacation. I'll arrange for that 14 years where we'll just be in the forest by ourselves, and you can open up your heart to me and we can have a good time where no one is going to bother us. It's going to be a disturbance. So to accommodate that desire, see, the Lord does this sort of thing. It's a sweet pastime between the Lord and Lakshmi Devi. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, he comes to do the same things, right? To give pleasure to his devotees, to destroy demoniac principles and the demoniac elements, and to re-establish dharma of chanting. But he also comes for his personal reason. His personal reason is he wanted to taste what it feels like to be a devotee of the Lord. He wanted to feel that feeling of being a devotee, how much nectar there is. And in particular, he wanted to feel how much love Srimati Radharani has for him. So he takes on the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he didn't realize how much intense that love is going to be. So he lost his mind and he did all kinds of crazy things. He was jumping very high, and he would dance all day and night, and people thought he's not a sane person. But these are just manifestations of intense ecstasy that even he was not prepared for. And because Radharani's color is golden, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though he is Krishna himself, he takes on a different color of gold of Srimati Radharani. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam. In Bhagavatam it says that Lord Krishna, he comes in Kali Yuga. Even though his Krishna, his skin color is Krishna. It's different, it's golden. So similarly, and we see that when Krishna appears as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is coming to taste the love that Srimati Radharani has for him, and to experience it, and to play the pastime, to feel the pastime of being a devotee of the Lord, and the effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord. And he spreads that information, that knowledge to us. And we are very fortunate that he appeared, and that we can take this jnana, this knowledge, apply it in our life. See? So these incarnations, for us to know, we need to be very clear, right? See, right now we've discussed so many lists of incarnations, technical categories, the Purusha, the Guna. It's good for us to know all that, but sometimes it can get too technical. At least these few things we should know about incarnations, that there are many, many incarnations. Why do they appear? We should know that. When do they appear? They appear in every yuga, and they can appear even multiple times in the yuga. Now, how do I recognize them? These last two questions are related to each other, because we should learn to recognize a genuine incarnation, and at the same time, we should learn to recognize the pretenders. Because, in the past, in the previous yugas, demons like Hiranyakashipu and Ravan and these guys, they would say, don't worship Vishnu. Worship me, I am God. Vishnu is not the real God. I am the real God. Worship me. But in this day and age, the demons, what do they say? Yes, Vishnu is God. 100%. I am that same Vishnu. You see, they don't even have enough originality to be their own incarnation. They have to ride on Vishnu's greatness. They say, Vishnu is God. I am that Vishnu. Don't you recognize me? See? But, and the thing is that many foolish people actually fall for that by the thousands and the hundreds of thousands. And we've seen that happen. All because they do some simple magic tricks that any cheap magician can also do. But these people, they get fooled and they say, oh, he can do this. It's amazing. He must be God. So we should learn to recognize them. Just like if you want to buy some gold, you have some money saved up after many years of working, and I've heard that gold prices are going up. I should buy some gold. So in the future, maybe I can sell it and make more money or something, but at least I should keep some gold as an investment. Okay, good. I've never bought gold before. How do I recognize the gold? So at least I must educate myself on what is real gold and what is fake gold, because there are so many people who will be willing to sell you fake gold. At least I must know, if I want to buy gold, that I don't go to a cloth shop. I don't go to a vegetable shop. At least that much I should know. Then I should also know who are the merchants of gold, what are the qualities of gold. There's certain things you can test to see, make sure it's real, and how to spot. So you have to educate yourself. Similarly, we have to educate ourselves. How to recognize the Lord? So the qualities of the Lord are there. They're given that, see, the Lord is always youthful and very beautiful. Some of these modern incarnations, they are neither youthful nor very beautiful. And even if they're beautiful for a while, then after a while, they're not youthful anymore. And they have to take medicines for diabetes or whatever they have to take. So that is not a proper incarnation. Another very important recognition, this is probably one of the most important one, is that they have to be listed or predicted in the scriptures. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came only 500 years ago, but his incarnation was predicted in at least 20 different scriptures, more than 5,000 years ago. See, very precise predictions. His name, his parents' names, the town he's going to take birth in, the various pastimes that he will do, what knowledge he will spread, everything, and what time frame he will appear. All of it. Can imagine. So much precision is available in our scriptures. Date of birth, name of parents, place of birth, and his activities. Everything is given. You can corroborate that very nicely. You see? There's another incarnation who is due to come. His name is Kalki. He's going to come another 400 something thousand years from now. It's a long time. But even that one, the name is there. When he will come? Towards the end of Kali Yuga. What town? There's a town. Even today, there's a temple of Kalki in India. And they're just waiting for Kalki to appear. Of course, it's a long wait, 400,000 years. But the town is there. It's listed in the scriptures. And the name of his father, his mother is also listed. His father's name is Vishnu Yasha. It was listed earlier in this chapter. So that is how you recognize them. And that is how you recognize who is not an incarnation. And then if we are equipped with this scriptural understanding, then nobody can fool us. And we can also save others from being fooled. Everybody knows deep in their heart that God is real. There is God. There is a higher power. Certainly. And everybody feels in their heart that God is very kind. So if God is real and God is very kind, then out of the kindness of his heart, he comes here. He comes to our unfortunate world again and again to give us comfort, give us solace, to give us knowledge on how we can come out of this world, go back to our home where we belong with him. So all that is there in the scriptures. It can be corroborated, and we have to learn to apply it and learn to do the various things that will give us self-realization, that will connect us with the Lord. And we start with the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and associating with other devotees who are progressive, and also various other processes of Krishna consciousness. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing about him, glorifying the Lord, chanting his name, remembering Krishna, and serving him in various ways. All that is available in the scriptures. It's available under the guidance of advanced devotees. It's available in this institution of ISKCON. And so the more we read about the Lord, one will be equipped with clarity on what to do and what not to do. And two, we'll have so much more confidence when we're practicing the spiritual practice, because we know that we have answers to many of these questions that come up. So I will pause over here and stop here. So thank you very much for your time today. Quite a good turnout today. Thank you for joining. And we have a few more minutes. If anyone has any comments or questions, we can do that now.
Hare Krishna. Are there any questions or comments? Kindly unmute and ask.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
I just have one question, a clarification really. We've got Guna avatars where Vishnu is in Guna avatars. And in a Purusha avatars, we've got 3 Vishnus. Okay. Yes. So the Vishnu in the Guna avatar, is he part of Shirodakshaya Vishnu or is a separate?
Is Garbhodakshaya. That is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Because he takes the charge of a particular universe. So the Guna avatar is at the universe level. So in that universe, there's a set of 3 Guna avatars. Every universe has a set of 3 Guna avatars. So at the universe level, it is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. The one in whose navel the Brahma sprouts up. That's easy to remember because see, Brahma is also the Guna avatar, and his father, who is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, is along with him the Guna avatar. That's how you can remember it. The other 2, the Kshirodakshaya and the Karanadakshaya Vishnus, they do not have Brahma coming out from their navel. Only Garbhodakshaya has that. So you can see how they're related.
Thank you. So that's part of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, just a clarification on the number of hands. Which form of Vishnu have 4 hands and which has 2 or 6?
Yes, so that is pretty much all the forms of Narayana or Vishnu are described as having 4-handed form. There are some incarnations that have 2 hands, like Lord Krishna has 2 hands. Of course, that's the original Lord. Balram has 2 hands. That's his original form. Lord Rama has 2 hands. That's the original form. Like that, there's so many. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has 2 hands, but then sometimes he manifests when he's showing different moods. There's a form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Shadbhuj, where he shows 6 arms. The purpose of that is really to show that he is Lord Krishna also, and he's also Lord Ram. He's also Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he shows the 2 arms of Lord Ram, he shows the 2 arms of Lord Krishna and holding the flute and all that, and then the 2 arms of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So like that, depending on what he wants to manifest, he will show different forms. You can see even in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks Krishna to show him the universal form, and after seeing the universal form, he asks Krishna to show him the 4-handed form. So Krishna shows him that, and then he shows him back normal, the 2-handed form. So for the Lord, he can produce as many arms as he needs for whatever needs to get done. Yeah. But the original form of the Lord, after whom our body is also designed, is Lord Shri Krishna. So we have 2 arms, he has 2 arms.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Are there any other questions or comments? Kindly unmute and ask your questions. I can't touch my computer because the moment I touch, everything goes away. So please unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I would like to continue with this class for next week, for however long it runs for. And I was wondering if maybe you could touch on a few basics for some of us who didn't grow up in this culture, some things that are not in the Bhagavad Gita that we would need to know. Thank you.
Okay, so I didn't quite catch that, but I think you're asking that you'd like to continue in this class and this somewhat touch upon some basics that are not in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, so the Bhagavad Gita is actually the foundation of the spiritual knowledge. It is considered, you can say, the primary education, the main one. And then after that, this Srimad Bhagavatam is the next level, where the Bhagavad Gita is completed. The Srimad Bhagavatam continues to elaborate more on the pastimes of the Lord. But the Bhagavad Gita has everything. The basic message is this, that God is one. There's only one God. He is all attractive. Every aspect about God is attractive. And because he's all attractive, one of his names is Krishna. Krishna means one who's attractive in every way. Now, God has created this world for us, this material world that we are in, for a specific purpose. He has created this world for us for two things, two reasons. One is because we as his children, unfortunately, desire to misuse our independence, to pretend to enjoy separately from him, to pretend we can be happy separately from him, and to kind of be more controlling and have our own little kingdoms. He provides it to us in the form of the material world, where it's a world of illusion. It's not reality. And because it's illusion, he puts in an extra feature in there called the time factor. So for a small time frame, we can be in illusion about, I own this, I own that, I'm this person, I'm this big thing. And then when time passes, that illusion is gone, and another flavor of another illusion is provided to us depending on our desires. So as time goes on, we go through different flavors and different types of illusions in the material world. But we are eternal because we are children of God. And because God is eternal, he's never had a beginning, he never has an end. We are also eternal. We have no beginning and we have no end. There's never a time when you do not exist, and there'll never be a time when you stop existing. The only thing we can do is we can either pretend that there is no God, or we can just pretend to enjoy separately from him. But that's all we can do. But ultimately, we'll be happiest when we are reestablished in the kingdom of God, eternally serving him and being very happy. He is happy when we are connected with him, enjoying with him, not separately from him, and recognizing him as our Father, eternal Father and eternal Master. And we'll be super happy. It's like being a fish being thrown back in the water. So now the Bhagavad Gita focuses on that philosophical truth. Srimad Bhagavatam then explains that truth in a very expanded way by showing many examples and many stories of real things that happened to great devotees, what made them great, why they failed, why they succeeded, and so on and so forth. So when we read those stories and we understand what works, what didn't work for them, and so on, it makes us, it makes the whole thing clearer for us on how we can implement it in our lives. So we can also then be liberated from this illusion that we have put ourselves in. It'll please the Lord. And the more we study Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, the more these things become clear. And even while we're studying, we'll feel a great deal of happiness because we are uncovering the true happiness of the soul. So that's in essence the basic philosophy and what the difference between Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is. All right. I hope that helps.
Yes, very much, especially the comparison to a fish being thrown back in water. Thank you very much.
Anyone have any other comments? There's a question here why Lord Brahma does not have a temple. So this is actually, there's a story behind this. I don't remember the exact details of the story, but the story behind it is that Lord Brahma was cursed, that even though he has been empowered so much, he will not have no one will worship him. You know, people worship all kinds of demigods, but they'll not worship Lord Brahma. So there's not many temples. There's one temple of Lord Brahma in probably the whole country. Other than that, there's not many temples. Also, another point to note is that Lord Brahma is not the category of Godhead. You see, yes, Avinash Prabhu was saying there's only one temple. That's what I thought. There's only one temple as far as I know. But he's also not category of Godhead. See, whereas Lord Shiva is a category of Bhagavan. He's a category of Godhead. He's not a soul, ordinary soul like us, you know. And of course, Lord Vishnu, and is a Supreme Lord himself. Now, there may be temples of other demigods, but see, even the temples, basically the most popular temples are what? Either Lord Shiva or Lord Vishnu and his incarnations, you see. But other than that, that's pretty much most of the temples. There's not many temples of Lord Indra either, you know, hardly anybody worships Indra like that. Another point to note is Lord Brahma. Brahma is a post. It's not really a person. You see, Brahma changes. Every 100 years, there's a new Brahma. 100 years of Brahma's lifetime, there's another Brahma. Also, there's so many universes. Each universe is a different Brahma. Which Brahma are you worshiping? So you worship the Brahma of this universe and so on. But still, some people do worship Lord Brahma. We've seen that. Very famous example, Hiranyakashipu worshiped Brahma. You see? And Lord Brahma appeared to him and gave him the boons. But there are not many temples for him for that reason. All right. Any other comments or questions? It's actually 2 o'clock. So I can only hang on for another two or 3 minutes, and then I have to unfortunately leave. Go ahead. There's a question from Sandhya, and then.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and all devotees. Prabhuji, just want to ask, what is the implication of cursing someone? So, for example, in Mahabharata itself, we see so many people, even Lord Krishna was cursed. I just want to know the implication of cursing. Hare Krishna.
The implication of cursing? So,
on the person who is cursing.
Of course. We see so many examples of curses in Mahabharata, in Ramayana, in Srimad Bhagavatam also. So those who have the power, have the ability, they can curse, and the curse does work sometimes. And the implication, it all depends on what the curse was and who did the cursing and how bad the curse was. Sometimes there's a cursing, curse usually is done out of anger, out of frustration or something like that. Parikshit Maharaj was cursed cursed by the son of Brahmana. And the son of the Brahmana, his name is Shringi. Shringi was very sad later on because he had, he realized that I made a mistake. But because the curse was not reversible, there's nothing you could do about it. So what is the impact on that curse to Shringi? Shringi had to live with that decision. He was very upset about it, and he was kind of depressed about it for a long time. So that pain of having cursed the wrong person was the punishment for Shringi. See, it all depends on who is giving the curse and what kind of curse. The implication could be severe, or there could be no implication. Someone is giving a very valid curse for a very valid reason. Shravana Kumar, at the beginning of Ramayana, he was serving his blind parents, and his parents got killed by Dashrath Maharaj. And so the parents, Shravan Kumar got killed by Dashrath Maharaj. So the parents of Shravan Kumar cursed Dashrath Maharaj that you will also suffer from separation from your son, and you'll die just like that. And so, those curses are very powerful. There was no reaction to those parents of Shravan Kumar for having given that curse because they had a valid reason to give the curse. So the implication all depends on the circumstance and situation, what their motive was and how bad the curse was. It varies from person to person. All right, Sandhya?
What I don't understand is how could Lord Krishna be cursed?
Sure, Lord Krishna is very kind. He allows his devotees to give him curses because he's a person. You see, he allows devotees to get angry at him. He allows devotees because he allows himself to be vulnerable to his devotees. And that power he only gives to his very advanced devotees, you know, or those are very powerful. But that power Krishna gives, you see. And also when Krishna gets cursed, that whole thing is usually to enact a particular pastime. So when Krishna gets cursed, it's a completely different category. Krishna has cursed many times, you know. Many different curses are there in Mahabharata and so on. But even those curses are there, they are designed and they are kind of orchestrated by the Lord himself to kind of push the story forward, push the plot forward. Right, so that's a different category.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. All right, so well, I want to thank you, Kirtika Mataji, and thank you all the devotees who joined. It's a good turnout today. I do need to log off, and I look forward to seeing all of you again shortly soon. I hope, Kirtika Mataji, your domestic problems get resolved shortly, get straightened out. Yeah, but thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can we just unmute and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once? Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Panchakalpatarubhyah
Antarubhyascha Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
Srila Prabhupada
Pada ki jai,
Shri Madan Gopal Das Prabhuji ki.
ki jai.
Advaita Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Hare
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.